Welcome to Reddit Tea Time. Am I the bonehead for stealing the name of my friend's baby who died at birth? Hi Reddit, I've been crying for hours and I spent the whole day. For a little context, I, female 30, am pregnant with my first child. It's a girl. I have a stable job and an incredible husband. We got married 3 years ago. This pregnancy has been a huge happiness for me and my entire family. Now comes the complicated part. My friend Camille and I have been friends since we were little. We went through a lot together, happiness, sadness, complicated family moments, literally a lifetime together. Camille became pregnant 2 years ago, and unfortunately the baby died during childbirth. She had been struggling with fertility issues and her pregnancy had been difficult from the beginning. I don't need to explain how terrible it was for her. She went into a deep depression, and I have helped her in everything I could. She even came to live with my husband and I for a while. Camille had a daughter whom she named Ingrid. A few days ago, Camille asked me if I already had names for my daughter, and I answered yes, but I wanted to talk to her about it. I told her of my intentions to give my daughter the middle name Ingrid. She burst into tears inconsolably. She started yelling at me that I was selfish, a witch, an idiot for stealing her baby's name. She yelled at me, how could I do that to her knowing what that name means to her? I tried to explain, but she wouldn't listen to me. My reason is simple. I want to name it after my little cousin who passed away and was like a sister to me. She passed away after a battle against cancer. I was 16 years old and she was 8. I always knew I would name my daughter after her. Camille knew about my Ingrid and was even at her last goodbye. She spent days drying my tears. When she told me about her baby name, I was a little bit upset, but I never said anything because I don't own the name. Since she left, she has been posting hints on Instagram about fake friendships. She's already told her family, and they haven't stopped filling my phone with messages about how insensitive I am. It was never my intention to hurt Camille, but so many messages made me feel terrible, and I don't know what to do anymore. Edit. I've been reading all the comments, and there are things I want to make clear. Camille knows that I always intended to call my daughter Ingrid, always as a middle name. Ingrid's mother, my aunt, knows about this and gave me her full permission. She said it was very sweet. Ingrid's father was never in her life, so I spent a lot of time taking care of her because my aunt had 2 jobs. It's not like she's a distant cousin, and that's it. My intention is not for my daughter to live in her shadow, but as a tribute to my little cousin. I always thought about telling her that I named her after a little angel who is very special to me. My husband and I will read all the opinions, and surely we will let you know about our decision. Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. She already knew about your Ingrid when she chose her baby name. If anything, she stole the name. And based on her going on Insta to complain about fake friends, which is, in and of itself, a very good sign that she is a drama empress, I would be wholly unsurprised if she used the name Ingrid intentionally. I mean, you can do what you want, but are you really sure you want to name your kid a name that not 1 but 2 children had and died? I'm not necessarily saying it's bad luck, but do you really want that sadness hanging over your baby's head? Not the bonehead. You have a good reason for naming your baby Ingrid. You're not being hateful or insensitive. In a certain sense, one could argue Camille stole the name first unless she had a good reason for picking Ingrid for her baby. Am I the bonehead for acting superior at my middle school reunion? I'm 23 female. In middle school, I was excluded and treated really harshly by my fellow classmates. I lived in a predominantly Asian area and am Asian myself, but I was never seen as Asian enough by most of my other peers because I was chubby and didn't do well in school, neurodivergent. They would constantly be passive-aggressive to me and act like I was a pest whenever I was trying to genuinely be nice, so I started resenting them and hanging out with the people who actually accepted me. Today I've changed a lot. I lost tons of weight after high school, and I made friends with a photographer who helped me get a start in modeling. I'm nowhere near as successful as a Naomi Campbell, but I do high-fashion editorial modeling. I'm proud of my position, and I'm aware that I'm very fortunate to be in the position I'm in. Yesterday night was my middle school reunion. I have a good group of friends I've known since middle school, so we all went together. When we arrived, I felt uncomfortable and only spoke to my group or the people who didn't treat me like crap. Whenever one of the people who used to act crappy towards me tried to speak to me, I just ignored them, continuing to talk and not looking at them at all. I didn't see an issue. They did the same thing to me. But apparently it irritated one of the dudes. This one posted my low test score to humiliate me in middle school. He came up to me and was trying to talk to me, but I just ignored him. He started telling me I thought I was better than everyone else and I was acting like a stuck-up jerk. I replied that I am better than everyone else and that's why I have a more successful career. We then had some back and forth because I mentioned that he treated me like crap, so he shouldn't act entitled to my time or respect. At that point, my friends told me to let's just leave. I personally feel like you dish out what you get. They all did the same crap to me in middle school. My friends were all on my side, but some of them felt like I could have tried to be nice to keep the peace. Am I the bonehead? Now for some comments. Middle school reunion? Jesus Christ, why? Everyone sucks here. Congrats, you're now the bully. I'm sure if you practice harder, you can really turn it up for your high school reunion. Everyone sucks here because it's a middle school reunion. No one cares. All of you need to grow up. You're the bonehead. I have read a lot of dumb things on Reddit, and this is one of them. Am I the bonehead for telling my son he needs to live with the consequences of ignoring what his children were saying? My son lost his first wife when their 2 children were preschoolers. My grandson is now 17, and my granddaughter is almost 16. Their relationship with my son has been on a downward spiral for years. It started when he and his current wife moved in together. She had 2 kids of her own, and early on, they showed extreme jealousy whenever their mom would pay any attention or buy anything for my grandkids. They were older, teenagers, and said a number of cruel things to my grandkids. My grandkids told my son, they told my wife and I, and we spoke to our son, but he ignored all 4 of us. My wife also spoke to my son's second wife prior to the wedding, and she said her kids would adjust in time. My grandkids spent years living with 2 much older kids who told them they deserved to have a dead mom, and that she had wanted to die because nobody would want them around. They accused them of stealing from them because their mom shouldn't be doing anything for them. There were incidents where they broke the stuff their mom bought my grandkids. My wife and I pleaded with our son to do something to help his kids. We said they didn't deserve to be raised like that. The problems continued even after the older kids moved out. They still expressed a lot of jealousy and hatred for my grandkids. I never interacted much with my son's stepkids. I saw them a handful of times in the years my son has been married to his current wife. They would mostly go to their dad if my son and his wife were spending time with us or any of our other kids, or they would reject offers to spend time with us. But the few times I did see them, I was always shocked by how blatant their hate of my grandkids was and how my son never appeared to care. One incident in particular stands out. It was my granddaughter's birthday, and she got some art kit she had wanted. It set off the 2 older kids who called her a witch baby, and they even broke part of the kit. My wife and I spoke up to our son and his wife, but they did nothing and said nothing. My grandkids now spend a lot of time with myself and my wife. They hardly speak to their dad despite living under his roof. They wanted us to get custody of them, but we were denied. So they have taken to doing their best to make it through the next year to 2 years. My son is only now starting to care that the relationship with his kids has been destroyed. He asked me why we tried to fight for custody of the kids when he's their dad, and he accused my wife and I of turning the kids against him. This is when I stopped him, and I said we didn't turn them against him. He's just living with the consequences of ignoring what his kids were telling him. I told him he put them through years of bullying so he could marry and stay married, and now he has to live with his decision. My son ranted at me and said the last thing any parent should do is try to make their kid feel crappy about themselves, which is what I was doing. Am I the bonehead? Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. Wow, the irony of your son suggesting that you are making him feel bad. What about how bad he's made his kids feel for years? The obliviousness of some people. Good luck helping those kids make it through the next year, plus until both can move out. One question. Did you take the time to tell your step-grandchildren off? If you haven't, might I suggest you do that as soon as possible and in front of your grandchildren? I'd bet they would love to see that. Pot, meet kettle. What an effing, clueless, self-absorbed, disgusting thing to say when he has failed miserably to protect his children, undoubtedly leaving them with a lifetime of trauma and mental health issues that they're going to have to deal with. Not the bonehead. He's had plenty of opportunities to ensure the relationship with his kids would be better. In addition to his kids and you telling him about things that happened, he's also witnessed things, like the example you're giving with the birthdays. You're not turning his kids against him. You're giving his kids a place to escape their home situation. And the only reason that's a necessity is because their dad didn't defend them against that. That's on him, not the bonehead. Am I the bonehead for ignoring my ex-wife's wishes regarding having our daughters in my wedding and uninviting her? I, 43 male, am getting married to my partner Lauren, 32 female, in less than a month. It is a destination wedding that has been in the pipeline for over 18 months now. I have my 2 daughters, 16 and 11, with my ex-wife Anna, 46 female, and Lauren has a daughter from her prior relationship, deceased ex due to a car accident while Lauren was pregnant, who is 5. Anna and I split 5 years ago when Anna realized she was bi and wanted to pursue a woman from her work. I will admit that I probably moved on with Lauren too fast due to my devastation over my 21-year relationship ending and Lauren still being in grief from the loss of her husband, plus struggling with at the time, very sick newborn. However, for the most part, we have all been able to remain amicable, and we all went to Anna's marriage to her co-worker Lynn about 6 months ago. Originally, the plan regarding my wedding to Lauren was for all of us to travel to the destination together so that my eldest could be a bridesmaid and our younger 2 could be flower girls. However, Anna and Lynn have recently broken up and Anna has asked us to postpone our wedding out of respect to her. When I tried to explain that this is impossible as it would cost us a lot to do so, she flew off the handle and accused me of deliberately hurting her, cheating on her with Lauren. Not true though, there was only a couple months between our split and meeting Lauren. Leaving her for a younger woman, called Lauren a gold digger and threatened to ruin our wedding. I hung up on her and sent her an email uninviting her from our wedding due to her threat. She now says she is revoking consent to our daughter's participation. I don't think this is fair to them and I don't want them to feel left out, so I merely pointed out that the wedding is on my week and she doesn't get a say. Am I the bonehead if I ignore her wishes? Edited to add, there was an incident with a trip to New Zealand a bit over a year ago where Anna tried to stop the trip. She thought we were showing off our financial state, but we were visiting Lauren's former in-laws so they could see her daughter, their granddaughter, for the first time since COVID. And we ended up having to involve lawyers, so there is a precedent for me being able to take the girls overseas without Anna's permission, so long as it doesn't affect her time with them. Now for some comments. Not the bonehead, but double-check your custody agreement because if it says you need her permission to travel with your kids out of state or out of the country, depending on where your destination is, you don't want to create a legal headache for yourself. Anna has to get a damn grip. This has the potential to be a good blended family and she's throwing it out over a decision she made that dissolved the previous family ties. I'm not sure of your arrangements with the divorce and child custody agreements, but I would definitely consult a lawyer to see if she can legally keep your daughters from your big day. If she can't legally, and you fold regardless, she'll play this card whenever she pleases until yours and her youngest reaches 18 and beyond. Please, for your daughters, don't back down and let them see you're fighting for their right to celebrate the most lovely moments in life and not be left out because Anna chose to make it about her again. Not the bonehead. She screwed up her life. She left her husband and broke up her family for a woman who ended up leaving her. In her grief, she's probably feeling regret over what she did and is therefore resentful that everything is going so well for you when it's all falling apart for her. You've moved on. She is your children's mother and nothing more now. You owe her nothing. She made that choice and she has to suffer the consequences now. Using your kids as a threat is disgusting and she should feel ashamed of herself. Have fun at your wedding. Congratulations, and I hope your girls have a great time. Small warning. If she's doing this stuff now, she might try doing something to turn your daughters against you and get them on her side. For example, telling them that you cheated on her or that you are too busy with your new family now and don't want them around. Make sure you always directly talk with your girls over the phone or Facebook or something from now on, just to make sure there isn't any manipulation or misunderstandings on their part. I'd also start creating some more distance between you and your ex. If she really is just hurt and healing, then she'll come to you when she's healed and apologize for her actions. Otherwise, I think things will only start to get worse from here. Am I the bonehead for telling my friend she's crazy? Sorry for my bad English. Ani, 20 female, and I, 21 female, have been friends for a decade. We haven't been in the same school or college for 6 years now, but live in the same neighborhood, and we hang out once a week, so we still have a close friendship. Around the summer of last year, Ani met Joe, 22 male, through a dating site, and they've been together since. For some reason, Annie is really insecure about their relationship. It's not her first relationship, and she is a beautiful and usually very confident person. From what she told me and what I see, Joe seems like a good boyfriend, so I really don't understand where the insecurity came from. As usual, me and Annie hung out this week. Long story short, Annie wanted me to seduce Joe as a test, which sounds like a really stupid and weird thing to do, and I told Annie just that. She tried to justify herself, but I was actually creeped out at this point. I told her I will not do any seducing or testing of anyone, and she's crazy for even asking me to do that. She looked really hurt when I called her crazy and told me that she thought I would understand her because we're both women, and I am insensitive for calling her crazy because of her insecurity. She also told me lots of women would help out another woman in this situation. I was too uncomfortable with the situation and left without even saying anything after that, but what she said has been eating me up inside. Am I really an insensitive bonehead? Now for some comments. Not the bonehead. I think it's a red flag trying to set up your partner for failure. You either trust them or you don't, and if you don't, then you should tell them, and if it can't be fixed, move on. It's really crappy to use your friend like this and make them feel bad for saying no. I would distance myself from her, to be honest. Life isn't a romantic comedy film, so no, not a lot of women would do something utterly stupid like this. Not the bonehead. If she's so worried about her partner being unfaithful, then she shouldn't be dating him. You're not in the wrong for not wanting to be pulled into affairs that have nothing to do with you to begin with. Your friend attempting to guilt you into being a pawn for them only shows you that they're not a genuine friend, especially if they can't understand that what they're asking of you is wildly inappropriate. Not the bonehead. I think this was lose-lose for you. I mean, if it worked, what are the chances she would be angry at you and then never trust you again? Also, no guarantee they would actually break up, and then it's awkward for you to be around them. She needs to learn we can just stop dating people we don't trust. What do you think? Please like and tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because you don't want to miss a single Reddit story. In the meantime, please take care of yourself. I'll see you soon.